title of my piece is To Christina, My Person. So for any of you who watch Grey's Anatomy, this piece is a letter written to one of the main characters, Christina Yang, a Korean doctor played by actress Sandra Oh. The show, for those of you who don't know, is about a bunch of doctors and their dramatic lives. And after this season, Christina is leaving the show. So this letter is dedicated to her and what she symbolized for me, and how for me, Christina was more than just a character. Dear Christina Yang, I wish you could see the surgery I'm watching. It is a train wreck. Those were the first words I heard you say, and I immediately fell in love. For several days in the summer of 2011, I was stuck in a YouTube coma in Seattle Grace Hospital, poring over episodes and skipping through scenes just to see those precious moments of you, unadulterated and refreshing. After a week of blurry viewing, I realized that I had just finished 7 straight seasons. At the sound of screeching ambulance sirens or the sight of split skulls, I watched as your heart skipped a beat, not in shock or anxiety, but in joy, pure surgical joy. Your first years as an intern, you scoured the ER for patients with the most visibly extreme injury and hung over them like a vulture. You're one of the most robotic characters on screen, and it was hard to understand how anyone is supposed to like you. When I discovered that you were being portrayed by actress Sandra Oh, it was hard to deny myself the rare opportunity to see an Asian American actress actually acting. You were not a minor character, the nurse, or a temporary patient with broken English, but a main character. So for a while, I didn't mind the cheesy voiceovers and weird, sultry theme song because, well, I had you. You became the character I intrinsically rooted for. Every bit of disapproval I had of your actions subsided into easy tolerance and soon adamant defense. You, Yang, were essentially my person. I thought it was all because you were Korean. There was really no good reason why I longed to see specifically you with your familiar flat nose, narrow eyes, and jet black hair. Yet I latched onto you. Seeing someone who looked like me on the TV screen kissing a renowned African-American heart surgeon or yelling at our Caucasian boss was somehow invigorating, something I'd never seen, and I couldn't help but be pulled in immediately. There's something unmistakably piercing in seeing someone who looks like you do things you've never done. Before you, I only found Asian characters within the over-the-top, distastefully written storylines of Korean TV dramas with titles like Boys Over Flowers. I'm sure you know at least one. They rarely span more than 16 episodes and usually follow the same storyline archetypes: the love square, the evil stepmother, mother-in-law, choose one, the hate-then-love relationship, and someone always ends up with either amnesia or cancer. They talk to themselves in front of the mirror saying things like, "I am going to get my revenge," or freak out when the opposite sex touches their hand. Before finding you, I bore through each drama. Although I have to constantly fix my eyes on the English subtitles on the bottom of the screen, there is a certain connection between these characters and me, made concrete by the same language and similar facial features. You and I can't easily find this in Hollywood. But you're the complete opposite. You hook up with random guys, can be blunt and scathing, and never talk about revenge to yourself in the bathroom. Seeing you cry and dance at the same time in an extremely vulnerable state after many shots of alcohol, I realized that what I was watching in these Korean dramas was an empty manifestation of fantasy, one in which cardboard figure characters who looked like me were easily able to get what they wanted. When I was a sophomore in high school, the only Asians around Hollywood were actresses like Lucy Liu, portrayed as dragon ladies or ninja warriors, exotic, mysterious, and unrealistic images of Asian American women. You're admittedly not very far from the ballpark as well. The doctor, really? It did eventually occur to me that writer Shonda Rhimes was creating a character that fit into the stereotype of Asian ethnicity. You're work-driven, goal-oriented, a graduate of Stanford Medical School, unable to express emotion, calculating, often socially inept, in sum, a full-blown stereotype of our Asian ethnicity. I still loved you. Something about your character made me sincerely believe you were stepping over boundaries. But what began as simply attachment bridged by the same skin tone morphed into genuine respect and reasons why you were my character. I looked past your ethnicity, and the more I loved you, the more I understood and connected to you, and found that you were slowly undermining these stereotypes. I learned you're far from a robot. You can let yourself break, and you fear failure and vulnerability. You admire success but also don't know how to obtain or define it, and you desire someone to hold you, to accept you unconditionally. But by understanding you, I was able to now confront your flaws as well. No longer could I just pass over the blatant truth that you are sometimes utterly selfish. Sometimes you believe that only your opinions matters, as if your actions hold no consequences. And sacrifices are hard for you to understand. But this is true for all of us. And the most beautiful thing about you is your ability to realize your flaws and struggle with them. I see you thrive not because of the difficulty of your circumstances, but because you're truly engaging in your decisions, debating what is right or wrong. You're used to being wrong and lose sleep knowing you could be wrong. You have to sometimes be told how you're hurting others. But in the end, you're always humbled. You know you're not worthless, even if you're not infallible. This is what makes you human, my most relatable character in TV history. You stayed with me for 10 seasons, and now that I'm graduating high school this year, just as you're graduating Grace, I can only thank you for what you stood for. Thank you, Christina, for showing me that I should never feel bound by the way I look. You've shown me there's no need to be limited by stereotypes, but there's also no need to avoid and disprove each expectation. Thank you for showing me that I should never feel as if I have the potential to be certain things but not other things, and that I should never feel anything less than capable. You will always be my person.